Let's face it, in the world of music and fame, some rumors never die. They fester, grow, and when certain names get caught in the same story, the result is explosive. Names like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Kelly Rowland, what begun as idle chatter on fan forums has now morphed into something darker, more insidious, something that refuses to be ignored. Whispers have been circulating about Jay-Z, accusations that he may be the biological father of Kelly's child, Blue Ivy. At first, it seemed like gossip, easily dismissed, but then the rumors began appearing in legal discussions, insider messages, and late-night conversations from people who claim first-hand knowledge of secrets no one else has seen. It all began subtly, with photographs that captured an uncanny resemblance between Jay-Z and Blue Ivy. Side-by-side images showed the same sharp jawline, similar eyes, mirroring expressions that made viewers do a double-take. Initially, it was dismissed as coincidence. Then, older whispers of Jay-Z's other secret children resurfaced, and suddenly the resemblance felt less amusing, more alarming. The internet has a way of smelling truth, and this time, the scent is undeniable. Jay-Z's name has long been tangled in controversy. Over the years, he's been involved in multiple legal battles, some from people claiming he is their father, others from allegations far darker, more damaging than most could survive publicly. One case in particular involved an alleged incident at the 2005 Harmony Awards, a lawsuit later withdrawn, but impossible to fully erase from memory. Timing only worsened things. These rumors surfaced just as another music mogul's empire was crumbling under similar scrutiny. Suddenly, Jay-Z wasn't just a powerhouse in the industry, he was a man haunted by the shadows of his past, a man whose secrets threatened to spill out into a world that thrives on perception. In the middle of this storm, Kelly Rowland did something that shocked many. She publicly praised Jay-Z in interviews, calling him one of the most remarkable men she knows. The timing was confounding. Why support him so publicly when accusations were spreading like wildfire? As always, the internet did what it does best. It began connecting dots that perhaps were never meant to be linked. Kelly's devotion began to look less like friendship and more like a protective shield. Her ties to the Carter family run deep. She is not merely Beyoncé's former bandmate, she is practically family. Beyoncé's mother, Tessa Carter, has referred to Kelly as a daughter. She grew up alongside Beyoncé, living in the Carter household, witnessing the rise of Luminous Echo firsthand. To the world, Kelly has always been this serene, sweet, unobtrusive presence orbiting Beyoncé's brilliance. But those close to the family know that proximity comes with rules. And the most important one is this: what happens in the circle stays in the circle. Kelly has mastered that rule. Silence is survival. Yet the secrecy surrounding Blue Ivy's father is unsettling. Unlike many in the public eye, Kelly never posts family photos, never references her partner, never hints. Where once such discretion might have seemed elegant or private, it now feels calculated. Every time she deflects a question, speculation fills in the gaps. Some interpret it as respect for privacy, others suspect fear of exposure. Either way, she never challenges the rumors, and that silence is exactly what keeps them alive. Meanwhile, Beyoncé remains untouched by the chaos. While Jay-Z contends with allegations, she carefully curates her public image, glittering album releases, dazzling appearances, perfectly staged smiles, all crafted to preempt the headlines. It is almost too precise, almost too effective. Beyoncé has perfected the art of transforming a crisis into spectacle, turning potential scandal into performance. Yet beneath the surface of control, people are beginning to wonder, how long can perfection conceal the truth? Jay-Z's history with paternity rumors is a pattern that never seems to break. Every few years, a new name emerges, another woman claiming he fathered a child, another demand for DNA testing, another wall of silence from his team. One of the most infamous claims came from Lenora Murr of Maryland, who insisted she was his daughter. Her relatives backed her up, saying everyone in their town knew the truth. No test was conducted, no confirmation was offered, just another cloud of secrecy hanging over Jay-Z's empire. Then there was Rye Sandwith, who spent more than a decade trying to compel Jay-Z to take a DNA test, dragging the matter across multiple courts. Each attempt ended the same: sealed files, dismissed motions, unbroken silence. That silence, deliberate or otherwise, makes every action seem calculated. If Jay-Z had nothing to hide, why not take the test? Instead, every claim is treated like a negotiation. Contain it, bury it, move on. Those familiar with the industry insist it is not about guilt, it is about control. Jay-Z's empire is no longer simply music. It is influence, perception, and the ability to manipulate truth. The moment one DNA result confirms whispers that have circulated for years, the illusion cracks. And when that illusion breaks, the Carter family's carefully constructed public image takes a hit. The Blue Ivy rumor feels different because it is fueled by insiders. Former Eclipse Records employees, PR professionals, and stylists, people who have worked within the Carter circle, all echo fragments of the same story. When multiple unrelated sources begin repeating the same narrative, the smoke becomes hard to ignore, even if the fire remains hidden. Kelly's loyalty is an integral part of the Carter machinery. She has been protected, positioned, and polished for her entire career. She is consistently visible, yet never controversial. While other artists fade or implode under scrutiny, Kelly remains poised, appearing at the right events, on the right stages, and in the right circles. Her connection to the Carter family ensures longevity, but also binds her to whatever secrets they are safeguarding. In her silence lies security, a permanent seat at the table no matter how violent the storms outside may rage. There is also that infamous birthday dinner, a night that has fueled speculation for years. Kelly reportedly left in tears after an evening with Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé's sister, Solange Carter. Witnesses noted a sudden shift in the atmosphere, a tension palpable enough to be seen on camera. Kelly stepped outside, eyes reddened, face tense. Some claim it was a minor disagreement among friends. Others insist it was a culmination of long simmering tensions. From that night onward, Kelly has maintained discretion, speaking only when necessary and wearing an expression that masks everything. Jay-Z continues to reinvent his public image, presenting himself as a mentor, a philosopher, a family man preaching values and legacy. He commands stages, delivers speeches on fairness, ethics, and industry integrity. Yet, even as his name continues to appear in lawsuits and filings, the contrast is striking. The man who built an empire on honesty and authenticity now avoids the simplest truth. Fans notice, critics comment, and defenders argue he has moved on. But how does one move past a truth never confronted? Beyoncé, meanwhile, may be the true anchor, holding the entire structure together. Her empire relies on the image of strength, loyalty, and perfection. Should the truth emerge that Jay-Z fathered a child within her closest circle, the internet would not just react, it would fracture the very foundation of her empire. Every rumor is treated like a security threat. Every leak is neutralized. Protecting love is secondary. Preserving a billion-dollar illusion is the priority. Online, this story has become an investigation. Reddit threads, Twitter boards, and fan forums resemble detective investigations. Timelines are cross-checked, photos analyzed, interviews scrutinized. The connections are uncanny. Every relationship, every encounter, every attempt at PR control only reinforces the speculation. The story is no longer merely about parentage, it is about power, secrecy, and how far people will go to manipulate the narrative. Jay-Z has always excelled at narrative control. From his early lyrics about survival to his billionaire rebranding, he has shaped perception to his advantage. But DNA cannot be spun. Silence cannot be trademarked. That is why the pressure feels as though it is closing in. The public no longer demands apologies. They demand proof. Kelly's role in all of this has evolved. She is not merely caught in the storm, she is part of the scaffolding holding it up. Poised, composed, always present, yet never questioning, her every move seems scripted. For insiders, the Carter strategy has always been clear: control the story or erase it entirely. Distractions are deployed as necessary, but as lawsuits accumulate, cracks appear. Graceful silence now appears as fear. Beyoncé's perfection now seems calculated, her participation unquestionable. Once fans question her authenticity, the illusion begins to crumble. If the Blue Ivy rumor is ever confirmed, the fallout would be unprecedented. Jay-Z would not simply be exposed, he would be unmasked as a man whose loyalty blurred into deception, whose empire was founded on secrecy. Kelly would emerge as the most tragic figure, a woman who sacrificed truth for belonging. And beneath the fame and fortune, the story is heartbreakingly ordinary. People trying to control shame, pain, and reputation. Silence has become confession. And until someone speaks, every smile, every photograph, every carefully staged family moment will carry the weight of a secret too dangerous to reveal. However, Beyoncé isn't performing. There are no flashing lights, no glam team fussing over her wardrobe. It's just her and Blue Ivy in a dimly lit rehearsal room. The camera shakes, the audio is faint, but the tension is palpable. Blue stands a few feet away, head lowered, gripping a microphone. Beyoncé's expression is unreadable, sharp, commanding, almost cold. That single silent second was enough to ignite the internet. Some viewers swear they saw tears in Blue Ivy's eyes. Others insist it was taken out of context. But the real fire started when someone claiming to be a former Parkwood Entertainment employee came forward online, insisting they knew exactly what was happening. According to this insider, the footage was part of an intense training session. Beyoncé allegedly wasn't just rehearsing her own performance, she was shaping Blue Ivy's every move, gesture, and facial expression to be perfectly camera-ready. If that sounds controlling, it only gets more unsettling. The insider claimed that if Blue Ivy's timing or posture was even slightly off, they would reset the scene entirely. The perfection demanded was absolute. Suddenly, fans were divided. Some called Beyoncé a perfectionist mother. Others called her manipulative. But the debate didn't stay among fans. Celebrities joined in. On X, singer Carrie Hilson cryptically posted, "When image becomes more important than innocence, something's already lost." Fans interpreted it as a subtle jab at Beyoncé. The tweet was deleted within hours, but the storm had already begun. Gossip accounts dug deeper. Older tour clips reappeared, moments where Blue appeared distant or shy, times when Beyoncé would whisper into her daughter's ear or subtly pull her out of frame before red carpet events. Moments that once seemed tender now took on a different, unsettling tone. Then came an audio leak. A voice memo titled Carter Home Audio 2019 surfaced online. The audio was faint but unmistakable. A woman's voice, Beyoncé's, could be heard saying, "You have to hold your head high no matter what. The world can't see you weak." A child's voice replied softly, "But I'm tired, Mommy." That brief 8-second clip shifted the narrative entirely. Headlines exploded. Blue Ivy's emotional plea shocks the hive. Is Beyoncé too controlling? The Queen's family under fire. Beyoncé's PR team immediately went into lockdown mode. Major entertainment outlets removed articles. Videos vanished, and copyright claims were issued against anyone who reposted the footage. But as always, attempts to bury the story only made it spread faster. TikTok users recreated the scene, dramatizing the tension, analyzing body language, zooming in on Blue Ivy's eyes and Beyoncé's posture, trying to uncover clues. One viral comment captured the sentiment perfectly. "That's not a rehearsal. That's a cry for help." More insiders began speaking out. Dancers, stylists, assistants, claiming they had witnessed the same kind of emotional control behind the scenes. One backup dancer wrote anonymously, "Everyone around B walks on eggshells. You don't look her in the eye unless spoken to. And Blue, she learned that faster than anyone." Though these claims cannot be fully verified, the pattern was unmistakable. The public began questioning the perfect image Beyoncé had cultivated for decades. Even the most loyal fans were unsure how to feel. For the first time, people asked, is Beyoncé protecting Blue or molding her into someone she never asked to be? Beyoncé remains untouchable. No matter what speculation surrounds the Carter name, she does not flinch. Her silence has become armor. While the world chases scandals, she releases visuals, flashes diamond-studded smiles, and shapes the narrative before the headlines can settle. The brilliance is almost overwhelming. If there's one thing Beyoncé has mastered, it's transforming crisis into art, distraction into spectacle. Yet, behind that control, the question lingers. How long can perfection conceal truth? Beyoncé's meticulous management of image combined with Jay-Z's history of controlling narrative makes the family empire seem untouchable. Every leak is contained, every rumor treated as a threat, but even the best-planned illusions show cracks under pressure. The internet has become a detective board. Fans cross-reference timelines, analyze photos, dissect interviews like forensic evidence. What emerges is a complex web of overlapping relationships, subtle gestures, and hidden tension. Every attempt by the Carter PR machine to contain discussion only amplifies curiosity. People aren't asking for apologies anymore. They demand proof, receipts, evidence that penetrates the polished public persona. Beyoncé's role in all of this has become more complicated than anyone realizes. To some, she is a mother fiercely protecting her child. To others, she is an architect of control, meticulously orchestrating every public and private moment. Her every appearance, every carefully curated smile reinforces the narrative she wishes the world to see. Those close to her insist that within the Carter circle, silence is survival. What happens in the family stays there, and loyalty is paramount.